What's up guys, Suris here. Well, we've got a new video to deal with today, and this one's kind of short, but before we get into that, we need to first get into the winners of the last poll. So if you didn't know that this channel has codes hidden in it, then congratulations, you won. And for the one person who voted yes, who are you? I would expect then this code is going to be cracked soon, and that I'll be receiving an email soon letting me know that you've cracked everything else in it. If you want to know the rules for the codes for my channel, I will provide a link to the first video where I explained the process. I will warn you though, if you do happen to find the present code hidden in these videos, you'll be going on a little bit of an ARG journey. Enjoy! So I was browsing my Facebook feed and came across this video, and let's just say that my reaction was a little terse at first. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that a video like this probably merits a bit of a response, and probably some way to break down the really bad ideas in it. And trust me guys, these are some pretty bad ideas. So let's go ahead and hop right into the video.
Well, hello, atheists.
Well, hello, vertical video. I wasn't aware that turning the phone on its side was a terribly hard thing to do.
How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing as well as I can be, considering my video's almost a day and a half late.
Hopefully not well. And I say that because, yes, I do wish that atheists suffer.
Okay, excuse me, what? So, why? What did I ever do to you? What would be the benefit of having me suffer? Why would you want that?
Because I believe that there are many times that suffering can be the catalyst in seeking God.
While that may be true, I find that a little bit egregious, and here's why. Yes, you can find that suffering, generally speaking, brings people closer to God, or at least starts their journey into seeking Him. But since you're requesting that somebody suffer to get there, you're still wanting the suffering to begin with, and that's not a healthy disposition to have. It's a lot like thinking that you're a wonderful person and then breaking up with somebody and then hoping that they find themselves in an abusive relationship so as to appreciate you more. Yeah, you might actually really want that end goal to happen, but the methods that you're hoping are used in order to get to them are, well, despicable. And here's my second issue I have with that. Why would you want me to get closer to your God? What benefit do you get from it? It's something that, since becoming an atheist, I stopped being able to really understand. There's no real reason for you to want me to believe in your God. I'm sure there's the whole, oh, but you'll burn in hellfire if you don't. And you know what? If you're honestly taking that approach, I actually see that as more of a threat than anything else. And I have a video covering that, which I'll link in the description below as well.
And you've heard the stories. Many people that have faced calamity, or they have a dying loved one in the hospital. You know, these people that may have not prayed before begin to pray. And in return, the benefit to that is because of it, many have become Christians. So, yes, I do wish suffering upon atheists.
So, I see what it is. You are not comfortable with people not being part of your in-group, and you want them to suffer, so that is the catalyst to them being part of your in-group. Knowing full well that being part of this in-group will subject you to all of the dogmatism and groupthink that the in-group has. So my question would be, why would your God, if he's all-loving, approve of you taking this tact? Isn't this really no different than wanting to beat a loved one because they're not loving you enough? Like, honestly, what type of abusive relationship requires you to want somebody to suffer so that they can think more like you? I think any God that would condone that is not worthy of worship. And anybody working for God in the capacity that I'm seeing you do is, well, bonkers to say the least, if not just outright cruel.
You know, I've tried to reason with atheists, but you can't do that. I mean, that's like trying to reason with a bedroom slipper.
And based on what you've demonstrated so far, I'm sure that any conversation with you in an attempt to give you some sort of empathy towards atheists would be equally useless. The difference here being you're trying to ask somebody to think like you, and the atheist is probably asking you to have compassion.
It's just futile. So, I think another avenue that would bring an atheist to God would be that they suffer immensely, and to the point that it is so severe where they fall down on their knees and they beg God to help them.
So an issue I have with this is that the God in question here, the Christian God, would also have to have been the cause to that suffering. If he's all-knowing and all-powerful, he definitely had the foreknowledge that I was going to suffer, and if he's all-powerful, he definitely had the ability to influence it. Omnipresent simply compounds this problem. There's another issue here I see with your tact, though. You are now dropping the efficacy of God down to that of no more than a crutch. And if you want to view God as nothing more than a crutch, then by all means, but I'm not gonna be the one defending you when you die and have to answer to him. Of course, that's your belief, not mine, so yeah. Also, if somebody were to come to their belief in God because they wanted to use it as a crutch to protect themselves mentally because they were suffering, would you, or better yet, this God, really view that as an honest way to come to their belief? And, well, I think we both know what happens to people who don't honestly believe in your God, in your religion. Dusty!
Really, that's the intent behind it. It's not really just for the sake of being malicious.
Yes, it is. You've just managed to use words and apologetics to wrap your head around it in a way that it doesn't seem like you're being the asshole.
Towards atheists, but that is really the intent, is to bring the atheist to God, but to do it through suffering.
I'll be honest, it would be through suffering that I would actively reject your God even further, because as I've mentioned before, he would, at least in some way, be the cause of that suffering. I would not only actively reject this God for being an absolute asshole, but I would actively reject you as a human being for being the type of person that would actively want somebody to suffer in such a way that would require them to completely abandon whatever belief system they have. And you mentioned atheists, but what about polytheists? Would you want them to suffer just as you want the atheists to suffer? What about Muslims or Jews? They're monotheists, and they believe in roughly the same God you do, just a slightly different flavor. Do you want them to suffer as well? This is a pretty honestly slippery slope you can fall down, and I don't think there's any way to justify it without just straight up calling you an asshole. But honestly, that's all I have to say about this video. The video itself was pretty short, and I know this upload is as well, but I've been doing a lot of long uploads lately, and I figured something short and sweet would probably benefit my audience a bit. However, all of this does lead me into the contest for this next week. And why not keep it on topic? Do you think that suffering will get you closer to a God, or make you actively reject that God? Specifically talking about the Christian God here. Remember to vote using the iCard above, and let me know what your thoughts are on this topic in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, and feel free to share it with your friends. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, you should definitely do that. You know, if you want to see more of my content. But with that said, I thank you all for taking the time to watch my video, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And before we get into the Patreon slides, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.